So in the age of mirrorless cameras and the advancement of technology, do you really need a light meter anymore? Today I'm going to talk about a light meter, what I use a light meter for, and why I think everyone should have a light meter in their bag. Now, in case you don't know what a light meter is going to read the source of light and let you know what you need to have your camera set at. Essentially, it's kind of doing what the meter in your camera is doing, but much more accurately. So first, let's talk about what it is that the meter in your camera is actually doing. So the meter in a camera is taking a guess of what the exposure is in a scene. Now it's getting its readings though from the reflection of the light off the skin, the reflection off of the clothing, reflection off of the background. There's different metering modes on cameras, but each one of them are using the reflection of light. Whereas a light meter itself is getting the reading from the light source. The way you would normally use a light meter when you are photographing people is you're holding it up near them, wherever it is you want to get your exposure reading, and taking the reading. So where a light meter can help you out is, say you're shooting a wedding. You have a bride in a white dress, your groom in a black tux. You're going to have white and black, which are going to reflect light in a different way. So your camera is just going to kind of average that out. And a lot of times you'll get the dress is a little too blown out, or the groom's suit is completely dark. This is where a light meter can kind of help you out, get a better idea of where you should be. Now we all know that we can look at the image on the back of the camera or through the viewfinder and have an idea of what that photo is going to look like. And I'm sure we have all ran into that problem before where we previewed the photo on the camera, but as soon as we upload it, the exposure seems too dark, or maybe it's blown out a lot more than what it looked like on the camera. Now when I'm shooting natural light portraits, I tend to not use a light meter. What I use a light meter for the most is off-camera flash. When I'm shooting off-camera flash, I'm not using TTL. All my flashes are ran and manual, and I'm setting them up the way I want. Majority of the time, I'm just using one light, but if I'm using two lights, I need to have two different settings. And where a light meter becomes really handy with that is to make sure that I have my flashes set correctly before I even bring the couple into the scene. Normally, I will use one of my assistants to stand in place so that I can get that set. And then I'm not taking multiple different photos, changing out the settings. I can just use my light meter, trigger my flash, and have a really good idea of where it is that I need to have my camera settings at or the power on my flash. It also helps out a ton when I'm using off-camera flash in the reception area. When they do the grand entrances in some of these darker reception areas, I like to have two flashes set up to be able to light up the room and make sure the exposure is good on everybody as they come in. Now I don't have time to review the photos as people are coming in and then try to adjust my flash. So I'll stand out in the general area that they're going to be at, trigger my flashes, and check my light meter to make sure that I have everything set correctly before everybody starts coming in. Another great use of a light meter is with film. I do shoot 35mm film during weddings, which my film cameras do have built-in meters, but these are cameras from the late 70s, early 80s, so they're not the most reliable. I was actually shooting a wedding just about a month ago when my meter decided to stop working. That didn't mean I wasn't going to shoot with film. I just pulled out the light meter and made sure I had my settings correct. Now the light meter that I use is this Iconic L358. It's an older light meter, but works absolutely fantastic. You can usually pick these up used for around $150 to $200. So really not a whole lot to spend on something that could really help with the consistency of your photos. Now I'm not gonna do a video on how to use a light meter per se. There's plenty of videos out there that can teach you about it, but I just wanted to do a quick video on why it is that I think it's important to have a light meter and why it is that I always have one with me.